Hey guys, I'm Leslie and this is my 1993 Mazda Miata. So the way I got into cars was back in high school, and I was talking to some guy and he was a big car guy. He had an RSX and we would go to takeovers all the time back then. I didn't know anything about the car scene. I was pretty much the plus one tagging along. So yeah, no takeovers. What are they called? The intersection?
Center divider?
No, you know,
It's the intersection.
intersection, right? Okay, so I was right. So the first time I saw the Miata was at a takeover. It went into the intersection and it was doing a donut, and I turned over to my friend and I was like, oh my God, what car is that? Because the pop-ups were up and there was like a little tongue sticking out of the Miata. So I thought it looked so cute, and he was like, oh, that's a Miata. And ever since I started seeing them a lot. That's when I told myself that I was gonna get myself a Miata. But when I got the Miata, it was actually an automatic. So at the time, I didn't know how to drive manual. So when I came across this Miata, I thought it was perfect since it was automatic. And then later on, I think a year later, I learned how to drive manual on an RSX. And I actually learned like in a day or two, which was crazy because before that, I attempted to learn how to drive manual on a Subaru WRX and I just couldn't get it down. So I know a lot of girls are sometimes scared to get a car that's manual. You guys should just go for it. It's not as scary as it looks. I mean, of course, it's normal to stall. Even now, I think I've stalled a couple times and like I've been driving it for years. It's completely normal. It's, you know, it's part of learning. I would go to car meets and they would like peek through my window and they would see that it was an auto and they would just like look away or like make little comments about it. So I would get like bullied about it a lot. So I took it over to BC Garage and they went ahead and did the manual swap on the Miata, so it is now a 6-speed. So after the Miata got manual swapped, it felt like I was driving a race car at the time because you like connect with the car, you know, like it's not the car doing the work now, it's like you guys are a team. I remember when I went to go pick it up, my friend went with me and they told my friend, they were like, maybe you should drive the car back home because it's like a fresh, like everything is fresh, like you need to break it in and like you shouldn't be doing no burnouts, no nothing. And I was like, no, like I know how to drive manual now, like I learned, like I got this. And as soon as we like were about to hit the freeway, it was like a big hill. And of course it was a red light and I was like freaking out, but I was like, no, I got it. And the first thing I did was do a burnout because I just freaked out. I don't know, I just stepped on the gas and I don't know, it's just my first time on a hill with the Miata being manual swap, so I freaked out. But after that, I think it was like the best decision I could have done. As the time was getting closer to doing the manual swap, I remember a lot of people were telling me like, you're gonna regret it because you live in California, like being stuck in traffic with the manual is not gonna be fun, like you're gonna wish you just had an automatic, like you're fine, leave it alone. But I could say that it's been about like 4 years that it's been manual swapped and like I think it's the best thing I could have done. I actually did regret. I was like, I should have just gotten a manual, to be honest. I was even thinking, my dad had told me, he was like, why don't you just sell the Miata and just buy another Miata that's manual? So the reason I couldn't sell the automatic Miata that I have now at the time was because I was very attached to my car already, about to be a year with it. But the reason I was also so attached to it was because, I didn't mention this before, but my dad did not want me to get a Miata as my first car. He thought it was too old. It was too small, it was too dangerous, like he was just like absolutely not. So for me it was like, no, like I've been wanting this car, I've been begging for it, and like the last thing I'm gonna do is just sell it. So I decided to just stick through it and just do the manual swap. The fact that I didn't sell the Miata back then actually makes it more special for me because I mean it's the car that I've had since day one. And then over the years, TikTok started blowing up and a lot of girls started getting Miatas and like getting into the car scene. And I still get a lot of hate now because they assume that I got a Miata because it's a trend or because of TikTok, when in reality I had it way before that. When I would pull up to car meets or stuff, you would get a lot of the, oh my God, it's a girl driving the Miata. And mind you, it was really stock, so like there was really nothing to like break your neck. Over the years though, the scene has changed a lot. So like now if I upload a video or if I pull up to a meet, they'll be like, oh, it's another basic car girl. because they see a Miata and they see a girl, they think it's just for the trends or for attention or because I want a guy's attention or I'm just doing it to like fit in, when in reality it's not true. Which I think it's bad, because I know a lot of girls out there don't want to jump into the car scene or avoid the Miata because they're scared they're gonna get hate on the internet, which I do understand, but I mean, it's something that you just have to like brush off. And because of my Miata, I also met all of my friends that I have now. I think life would be completely different if I didn't have the Miata. So if I had the option to go ahead and sell it and buy something else or trade it in for another car, I would not do it. So as a lot of my friends know, I love an Evo, and that was my dream car. I still kind of want to get an Evo 9. And they'll be like, well, would you sell it if they told you that you would get an Evo 9 or like trade it in for an Evo? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I don't care if it's my dream car. I don't care if it's like this exotic car that you would be offering. I would not sell the Miata. So after my manual swap, I wanted to go ahead and start, changing it up, because I was driving a monster truck back then. So I went ahead and got coilovers for the Miata. After the coilovers, I did get a lip and the side skirt. And then I thought maybe I wanted to stop there, but I wanted to keep on going. So then I got the roll bar, which is on now. I went ahead and also got the hard top. I had clear taillights. This one time I opened up my trunk and I saw there was like a puddle of water. I like left it alone. I didn't think much of it. And then it happened again. I removed the taillights and I put back my OEM taillights. The problem was gone. But because of that, I now have a little bit of rust going on back there. So I don't plan on putting them back on. When I first was looking into Miatas, I actually wanted a red Miata. I thought red was just like the perfect color. So I was kind of sad when I got the black Miata, because I was like, it's not gonna look nice. It's gonna look weird. I always said I was gonna paint it red. And then when the time finally was like, okay, it's time to make it happen and switch it up, I decided to go for a wrap, just because I feel like I have commitment issues. I get bored very easily. So I was like, let's just do a wrap and then I can switch it up later on in the future, because I do have like 3 other colors in mind that I want to do. So I decided to get it wrapped. So driving a slow car is kind of like, it kind of does suck, honestly, because sometimes I'll go out and cruise with my friends, and then like they'll just dip on me and then I'm stuck in the red light, or I'm a couple streets behind because they forget I drive a Miata. Maybe when I'm driving in the freeway too, it kind of feels like it's about to fall apart when I hit like 80, because I'm like, dude, I can't no more. I remember I once let my brother drive the Miata to work, and he like took off, and then when he came back home, he was like, is 80 the fastest that your Miata goes? Because it was just scary to go beyond that. And I was like, honestly, yeah, I could go faster, but that's like pushing it. So if you don't like slow cars, you probably shouldn't get a Miata. But other than that, it's super fun. I have a 1.6. I know there's 1.8 Miatas, so I got stuck with the slowest option. But if I had the choice to like boost it or do anything to the engine, I wouldn't do it. I like my car reliable. Not saying that it would cause a lot of issues, but it's just not something I plan to do. Maybe on a different car that if I were to get in the future, but definitely no. So the reason the Miata is not too crazy looking or doesn't have much dent to it is because I like having everything as OEM as possible. So I pretty much won't switch out a thing unless it's like broken or I have no other option but to, go for something different. I like having it OEM. I just like a simpler look and just straight to the point. So for exterior mods, I have the VSKF wheels. I actually just got these. I do have the front lips and the side skirts, and then the lip on the rear end. I have my windows tinted, and then the little spoiler on the hard top. And then of course the tiny bot wrap, which is Dragon Scale Red. So for my interior, I just have a quick release aftermarket steering wheel. Gaara from Naruto shift knob, because I'm obsessed with Gaara. I think it goes perfectly because my interior is actually tan. For my engine bay, I have a turbo. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a turbo. It's actually completely stock. Nothing special going on. So if I would give any car girl an advice, or any girls that want to join the scene, I would just say, don't listen to what anyone has to say. Everyone's gonna talk shit regardless. Like I could take my Miata to a car meet and just park it. And if they think it's a guy that's driving this, they're gonna be like all over it. But once they find out it's a girl, they're gonna be like, oh my God, of course a girl drives it, blah, 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 like another Miata car girl, whatever. So I think just do whatever you want. If you want a pink car, if you want to wrap your car pink, go for it. Like, don't be afraid. Thanks for watching. Once again, this is my 1993 Mazda Miata, and if you guys do want to follow me on Instagram, it's gonna be X+M. We're done? That was fast. Okay.